Hey everyone, your designers are here. I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home.
We've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today, so let's get started.
Today is episode 128, and we are talking about choosing and using a duvet. So today we're going to dive into the covers.
And I don't know about
Snuggle.
you, but
It's cold here today.
Well, it's not cold here, but what I would give to just be in bed watching movies on Netflix or Hulu
Watching
on my
Texas
laptop.
Flip and Move, maybe?
Or Texas Flip and Move, something like that. Yeah, and then just kind of be dozing in and out. Oh, that just sounds delicious.
Stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're all going to be tired and yawning through all of this.
Yeah. So, go get yourself a cappuccino and let's stay awake and tell everybody what we know about duvets. So as I mentioned, we got some questions about this. And since we had a few, we thought it'd probably be a great topic for an episode because it's kind of one of those things, well, you hear about a duvet. I mean, a lot of us, if you didn't have sort of a Euro background or you didn't travel abroad as a young adult, you may not have encountered a duvet until later in life. So maybe some people don't even know what that is. So we'll start at the basics. A duvet is a squishy, usually down-filled blanket that you put inside a duvet cover. So, and it's really, I think, the way that bedding was always done in Europe, and here in America, at least, when I was growing up in the 70s, it was a comforter or a quilt, and you kind of had a set, and it wasn't something that you had a cover for. It was all one thing.
Well, I think of it like this. Think of it as a big, giant pillow and a pillowcase. But the pillow is the kind that Kevin likes. It's a real squishy, thin pillow, and you just put but it goes over all your bed. That's what a duvet is.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
And what I love about a duvet is you can wash the cover, which I think is so important. Who wants to be in a bedspread that you have to, first of all, dry clean? Because I don't want to be laying under those chemicals all night.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I wash my duvet and my duvet cover. So separately, I take them apart so they don't strangle each other in the washing machine. But you can wash the whole shebang.
Is your duvet, is it down?
Yeah.
And you, because I wash, I've washed pillows. I washed like my smaller pillows. And I know that you have to get that really dry or you'll get that stinky dead bird smell.
Yeah, you have to go in super extra dry and fluff mode and all of that stuff. So it usually takes a few cycles to get it, fully dry. Put
either tennis balls or I make, and I'll put this in the show notes, I make these wool dryer balls. They are fabulous. And I put about 5 of those in whenever I do things like that.
Okay, great. I'm making a note. We'll put that in there.
Yeah.
So usually a duvet is solid white and it's filled with down or a down alternative for warmth and comfort. And then your color is going to come in with your cover.
But I think one reason to get a duvet versus a comforter, for example, is that you can really spend some money on getting a really good quality down-filled
duvet,
and then you're going to cover it with whatever you want. Whereas, if you change your look with a comforter, you keep having to, if it was a duvet, you could keep reusing the same duvet. But if it's a comforter and you buy new ones all the time, then you feel like, oh, well, I can't buy and spend a lot on another one because I just bought one.
Right.
But this way, you're really just paying for the fabric that
and
goes
remember,
over
the
it.
duvet's the down-filled insert. It's the inside. Just think of it like the real thin pillow, so to speak, inside.
And so it's inside, so it's not necessarily touching your skin, but the thread count is still important. I mean, normally a duvet is made out of a cotton, cover, and then you put the duvet cover over that, and then so you would think, well, maybe you don't need to worry about the thread count because it's not touching your skin, but the higher the count, the denser the weave, and that helps contain the down. better.
Have you
Well,
ever
I
had
think
a pillow that does that? Like a
Mhm.
throw pillow, and a feather comes, the end of a feather comes through and like picks you, and then
Yeah.
you could just pull it right out. You do not want that happening when
No.
you're sleeping
No,
at
and
night.
that's a good point because usually, unless you're paying a whole lot of money, you're going to be getting a combination of feathers and down.
Right,
If it's
exactly.
just down, it's going to be super duper expensive.
And not
So-
only that, if you're getting the combination, it's heavier than if you were just getting down. Because
Yes.
I have some duvets now that the one we have up in our bedroom, I very seldom sleep all night with it. It's just so heavy.
yeah. hmm
But where we live, it's very cold in the winter.
But they say that that's what's great that's like considered a thunder vest, they talk about putting something heavy on a dog that's freaking out with a storm and for babies to kind of, so supposedly that weight is supposed to be comforting to some people.
Unless you're waking up in the middle of the night going, oh, I'm having a heart attack. I just know it. And it's because your duvet's so heavy on you.
Well, we used to have it was more like a quilt than a duvet. It was not a quilt, but we called it the dead person because when it laid on you, it felt like there was a dead person laying on top of you. So anyway, just to finish it up with that thread count. So but it doesn't have to be super high. Like it doesn't have to be 800, 300 or plus. You really shouldn't pay for much more than that for your duvet.
That's a really good thing to know. I did not know that, Kelly. Good to know.
And here we're talking about feathers and down. So, and people might be saying, well, isn't down feathers? What's feathers down? So the feathers on the geese or the ducks are the outer covering of the bird, and they have quills, and that's the part that repels the water.
That's the pokey part.
That's the pokey part. The down it lies beneath that protective covering of feathers, and it's usually on the belly of the bird, and it's much lighter and fluffier. So
Or even think of like a little baby chick
feathers.
that's all fluffy and pretty. Mm-hmm.
Right. And they don't hurt the birds to get these. They just fall off. So it's okay.
Okay. And then another thing to think about too is remember we talked about if you want a really full look in your duvet cover to put in 2 duvets, which looks fantastic, but you also do have to keep in mind if you're going to sleep under it that now it's getting even more heavy, which is what Yvonne was talking about, and hot. Well, here I don't ever sleep under a duvet. It's really just for looks. It's just way too hot for us here in the South.
Well, can I just give you a tip then? If you have a duvet cover, and I'm actually going to do a blog post within the next 2 weeks because it's on my schedule. I just needed a bed cover one day, and I had this beautiful duvet cover that I wasn't using. And I thought, oh my goodness, I can put this on like a bedspread. You know what I mean? Like, or a I usually use Matelassé, but I can cover even 3/4 of my bed and turn it down. And the reason I like that is because a duvet cover is shorter than like a blanket or even a comforter. They're just not quite as long. And I just love my bedspread to just hang over just a little bit below if I have a dust ruffle or the sideboards of my bed. So it looks so nice. If
you don't even have to fill it.
No, that you love, but it gives you a little light cover, and it looks beautiful.
Speaking of the fills, so let's talk about the fill inside the actual duvet. So we're talking about down, which is really lightweight and it has a lot of breathability. And so you're going to want to look for 100% down or pure down on the tag, because if it just says down, you know how those tags can be misleading, like organic. So if it only just says down, it could be as little as 30% down. And the rest of it could be synthetic fill. So you're going to want to look for 100% down or pure down. Now, of course, that's going to cost you a little bit more, but let's harken back to what Anita said a little bit ago, is that you don't have to be changing this out all the time. I mean, if you get a really well-made one, this could last you years and years and years. And not to knock the ducks and the mallards, the lady ducks and the mallard ducks, but
duckies, cover your ears.
Yeah, sorry, but maybe they'll be happy.
Oh, yeah, maybe they will.
It's fluffier.
What's fluffier?
Goose.
Fluffier.
Right?
Fluffier. Yeah, goose.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here's another thing. Don't turn your nose up to down alternative, especially if you live in an area that you don't need an awful lot of warmth, because some of them can be very nice.
It's true, but they are heavier, like you're saying, kind of like the feathers versus the down.
But if you get a flatter one, I have one that's quite flat.
Right.
And I'm fine with it. It's not too puffy, but for the summer, it's just so nice on your bed.
Yeah. And if you have allergies, I mean, that's just the way to go. There's no choice about it. You don't want to be sneezing all night. So there's some other aspects to a duvet. I mean, you just think this stuff is easy, right, gang? No, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of information out there that we need to know about.
So you're not going to go to a store without all this written down now?
Yeah, you need to have all of this.
Yeah, it's like a hunt.
But we'll put maybe we'll put some links to the ones that we like right in the show notes. So now you've got, okay, well, what my thread count and my fill, and then there's an aspect of a duvet called fill power. And that measures the fluffiness, how much space 1 ounce of down occupies, right? So their better quality has a higher fill power, and it's more insulating. So a rule of thumb is if you like to be cool or you live someplace where it's hot all the time, your fill power should be 400 or less. For like a generally all seasons one, and you'll have from 400 to 600. And then cold weather, 600 to 800. And if you are living in an Arctic zone or you really like to be warm and cozy, 800 plus.
If you live in Santa's Village, that's the way to go.
Right. If you're an elf and you work in Santa's Village, that's you're right, 800 plus. But you may not have even considered this. But if you start to look for duvets, you'll see that it has these numbers.
Wow.
And then you'll know a good way to choose it, or they'll refer to it as, a summer weight one. And then you should know.
Now, I've seen that.
Yeah. Right. And then the last thing that you should take into consideration is the fill weight. And that's the number of ounces inside the duvet. So, how much it's got going on in there. And so these are just some things that you should take into account so you can find the right duvet for you. And you don't feel like there's a dead person laying on top of you, or you're not feeling like you need to get up and put on socks and a robe to be warm. Because as we're saying, if you're buying a well-made one, it's going to cost you a little bit, and you should.
But it's going to last.
You should
probably
expect
a
to
lot
pay
longer.
for a good duvet these days.
Right.
Has anyone bought one recently? You ladies?
I don't know that it's
Not
been
recently.
that recent.
Not recently. I've had a lot of them for years.
I want to talk about the duvet covers too for a little bit.
Okay.
Because the nicer ones do have a way to connect to the duvet. So because, there's nothing worse than that duvet shifting inside the cover so that it's lumpy and thin on one area, but too thick and bunched on the other side. So I really do look for the covers that have the ties in the corners so you can tie the duvet into each corner.
And if not, you could probably sew your own in.
Right. Or
they've got to have some gadget out now.
Well,
that you can do
it's called a safety pin.
Oh, really? I don't know that I put a safety pin on something I sleep under.
Well, it's just in the corner.
I know.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Then, and Anita mentioned this, and I actually knew of it, but I went online to YouTube and looked it up. There's something called, because putting a duvet in a duvet cover is like wrestling with a bear.
It can be, for sure.
Oh, because it's heavy. I mean,
and then
big and fluffy.
Are you usually doing it by yourself? Because I'm always doing it by myself.
I hate to say this. I used to do it by myself, but I have somebody who helps me, and she does. When we have to change duvets, she's happy to do it.
Oh, very nice.
This might change my mind.
Is this one of those mystical high school girls she talks about?
Yes. No, actually, it's my blog assistant. So when I need to change a duvet for a photo shoot or something, she'll do that for me. And it's usually seasonal, so I just can leave it on.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quinn's. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor. And I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy-to-reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health: potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT.
But this is so interesting, and we're gonna try this. I'd actually like to do a little maybe Facebook Live about this. You take a duvet and you turn it inside out, and a duvet is just like a big sack. I mean, a duvet cover, like a big sack with the opened end at the bottom of your bed. Then you lay your duvet over the top of it. You lay it.
So you're talking about the duvet is inside out, correct?
The duvet cover is inside out.
Right, the duvet cover, right.
And the opening
is at the foot.
At the foot. Mm-hmm. And then you put your duvet over it, matching your corners. And then you can tie the corners. Right. And then what you're going to do is, starting at the head, roll the whole thing up like you're rolling up a burrito, real tight. Mm-hmm. And then this is the hard part to explain. Then you're going to take the one corner and you are going to turn, because now the duvet's inside out, you're going to take the one corner and fold it over to make it right side out. And then you're going to take the other corner and turn it over like everything, the duvet, and it's going to be right side out. So basically you're going to have, the corners are going to actually have the duvet cover both on the underside and the top side, with the duvet in the center. And then you're just going to unroll it that way. And it's hard to explain.
Yeah,
I'm really trying to
You'll
visualize
have to check out this YouTube.
Just look at the video, because it's kind of hard to follow the instructions.
Yeah.
Just
but
look
you
at the
got
video.
the burrito up until you have to turn the corners.
Okay.
It is so easy.
Okay, but me visualizing this, the last bit that I saw in my mind was me laying prone inside the going, I've tied myself in here.
Yeah. It's like you're rolled up in a rug and your head sticking out of the top.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's so simple. Yeah, it's very
okay. Well, you've
got the burrito idea.
Mm-hmm. Got the burrito. Okay,
but we'll put the YouTube video on it for you.
Okay,
It is. I just thought, oh gosh, this wouldn't be so hard at all anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. That's very, yeah. You got to watch the video.
Mm-hmm. Because you lay it right on your bed to do it. It's like folding a sheet.
Yeah.
I mean, a fitted sheet.
Right. It's probably one of those things. Once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I got that. Okay.
Well, I actually went on YouTube about a week ago because I was so frustrated with the sheets and how they look folded in my linen closet that I went back to Martha Stewart. She's like the queen of like everything that's done right. And I watched it. It's not as hard as I thought it was. Now, have I tried it? I've got like a mountain of done laundry because it's a week before Thanksgiving and I've got Thanksgiving things to do, the house to decorate, blog posts to do. So sort of my laundry's getting away from me, but tonight I'll fold laundry and I'm going to try it. So it's one of those things that you really have to see to learn. It's very visual.
And so if you wanted to make a duvet cover too, I think this would be super easy to do.
Yeah. That is a super easy thing to do.
And you wouldn't have to do any fancy enclosure at the top. You could just do ties or something.
Yes.
Or a fold over, kind of an envelope cover too.
I've seen both ways. Now, let me ask you, I've seen some duvets that actually have like a middle panel and then side panels. Is that how you would sew it? So you wouldn't have to get special fabric?
No. Well, they just don't make it that wide unless it's commercially manufactured.
That's what I'm asking you.
So if you're buying fabric, yes. So here's the thing: you don't want that center seam. So you're going to use
your center panel,
right? Well, you're going to use the length of what your duvet is going to be in the center. Then you're going to take that second length of fabric and cut it in two. So the two pieces, so that you do actually have side panels and the center panel. And then the center panel, because that way you avoid that seam right down the center where your eye goes.
And it's very important to do when you're sewing it, to sew a standard size, because I can't imagine they do custom sized duvet covers. I'm sure somewhere they do.
We have very big mattresses, very tall mattresses. So nothing seems to be the right size. So I would actually add a little length to it and make it a little bigger.
Oh, or you could add like a panel that's not filled and do maybe a knife pleat or a ruffle or something else around that.
A knife pleat would be nice as well.
Yeah, wouldn't that be pretty?
Yeah, or a ruffle. Yeah, did you say that? That's a good idea.
And could you use a sheet that you loved?
That's pretty thin for the
top
for the
bottom?
most part.
Yeah, I think you could. You mean sewn or just placed on top?
Yeah, sewn. Instead of buying fabric,
I think
or
absolutely.
doing the seams.
Well, the top and the bottom, I think you could if you wanted to. Sure, of course.
Yeah, right.
I would say no. I just
Why?
No, don't you say it to me.
Because I mean, other than it, like your antique fabrics, like your beautiful antique linen, bedspreads.
Well, what about a really nice flat linen sheet?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Other than those.
I'm not talking about antique. I'm talking new. But here's the thing: if you do not want those, if you don't want those seams, you're going to have to go with a linen sheet.
Although I don't mind that look. I just think that maybe a flannel sheet would be okay.
That would be
well, the linen.
Because
I would love the linen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the linen would be beautiful.
Well, I said other than the linen because I think the linen would be beautiful, or maybe flannel. I just don't know about like a plain a cotton. I look at duvets and I think of them more in a designer fabric.
You want more of a heft to it,
but I also want. I don't know. I think a sheet looks like a sheet no matter what you put on it. What you make it
well, if
into.
it's cotton, it just depends. I mean, it's just an option if somebody wanted a low cost thing and they wanted to make it really easy on themselves. It's certainly a possibility, but yeah, I'd have to see it before I really pushed for it.
A friend of mine
and said,
made
that's
them.
great.
She's a fabulous sewer. I mean, she makes gowns and I mean, she's a fantastic sewer, but she made them for her daughter's dorm room. And she actually made a set for her daughter and her daughter's roommate. And she did hot pink sheet underneath and then this really jazzy, fun floral on top with ties. And it was just sheets, but it was a dorm room, but cute.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just so peppy for the girls'
Sounds
room. It just
cute.
really, and it's three sides. It's, it's so easy. You stick it inside because even the sheet has its own hem already. So you didn't
that's
right.
right.
Now, I think for something like that, and if you're using I wouldn't use a pastel or white. I think it gives it away immediately.
Yeah.
But something like that, yeah, I might be convinced in that case, that would be something fun to do.
Yeah, I think it'd be an easy, quick project.
Okay, I know you
Yeah.
guys have probably some more ideas about creative things. Let me just finish up with the meat and potato, the meat without the potatoes or the side dish of the duvet. So there's the construction is the last bit. And so you'll see things that have this baffle box, and that's the warmest and usually the most expensive. It's kind of like a checkerboard. So when I'm saying the baffle box, I'm talking about
You're talking about the duvet.
I'm talking about the duvet, and it's really the quilting, if you will, or the stitchery that's on it. And it's these baffle boxes. So sort of these individual squares or rectangles. And then that's kind of what keeps the down. Because if you imagine if it didn't have any of that, if you held the duvet up, all the down would fall down, right? You know, it would just fall to the bottom.
That's right. That's
And then there's
right.
another one that has quilt stitching, so everyone can visualize what that is. And then channel, which is probably the least expensive one. Those are just some parallel seams.
Yeah, but that moves around.
That
I
moves
would
around,
think. Oh,
right?
my.
And then there's ones that are gusseted, so they have almost like a frame, that's the gusset, around the edges. And then they usually have the baffle stitching within. So again, those would be more high-priced ones. They're better made.
Go with something that you have the least movement of any filler that you have in a duvet.
Yes.
And I would just say buy the best you can afford. I mean, it will last you decades and decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
I think
take
that's
good care of it. I mean, obviously you want to once in a great while wash the duvet. I'd say and I'm really picky about washing the duvet cover. Even if it says dry clean, I try to just wash it on a delicate cycle and hang it to dry.
Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
Yeah.
And I've been okay. But I think they do that because they don't pre-wash the fabric. And if you don't pre-wash the fabric, when you wash it again, it can shrink, especially if you put it in the dryer. Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I've been pretty lucky. I've never dry cleaned any of my duvet covers ever. And I think they're, they probably.
But look and see how many say dry clean.
Yeah, but I'm with Yvonne. I don't want those dry cleaning chemicals on my bed.
I don't like to dry
breathing that in all day. I mean, it's one thing kind of, I don't know, your clothes, you feel like, well, I don't know. It's just
you're there 8 hours and you're stationary. It's not like you're walking around airing it out. Right. And that's another thing you can do. You can air out your duvet as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Or just put it in, just tumble it on air in your dryer with, again, tennis balls or those wool dryer balls.
Yeah. When you think it's dry, give it a few more minutes. Give it another 20 minutes, or I have or
let it sit for half an hour and you'll smell whether it's done or not.
Yeah, that's right. If you open it up and it starts quacking. Okay, I did try. After we talked about it one time, I maybe it was one of the bed episodes or something, and I think one of you mentioned about putting 2 in there, and I tried it, and man, did my bed look good? It looked like it was on the showroom, floor.
Well, I found that out at Pottery Barn because I went and I said, why does your duvets, why does your bedding always look so much better than mine? And that's what they said. It's really one of our big tricks.
Yeah, but the trick is nobody is sleeping in the Pottery Barn beds.
No.
One went this way and the other one went that way. And it was not something we could deal with on a daily basis. And lifting it up and trying to throw, fluff it and whoop it onto the bed.
If it's just for show, though, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I definitely have used it. I use it a lot, the 2, but it's too heavy and too much for us to sleep under. But for looks, it's just beautiful. And why not just put it on your bed for the looks? Then when you take all the bedspread off and everything, you're still left with your sheets and a blanket. And well, quite frankly, here, we're still, it's almost Thanksgiving and we still have we just have a thin linen blanket on our bed.
Oh, see, we sleep under our duvet and the duvet cover every night. So I couldn't do the 2 because we use it for sleeping. I don't sleep at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like, well, try it if you just want to take pictures of your room. But if you're really going to sleep under that,
or if you like that feeling at the dentist when they put that metal or that lead jacket thing on you, the blanket, if you like that, you'll be good.
If you like being held in place while you sleep, you'll enjoy that.
I just think a duvet really is a beautiful accent to a bed.
So is everybody here a duvet girl? Or not?
Oh, duvet.
Anybody a bedspread, comforter, quilt girl?
Well,
no, I like the bedspread, but I don't. Okay, here's what I like. I want a bedspread on every bed.
Me too.
I want a duvet or a quilt at the foot of the bed.
So when you're saying a bedspread, you're gonna have the duvet at the base.
I only really like the duvet. See, and even at the farm with the 3 girls' beds in the 1 bedroom, I used a beautiful, just simple white linen sheets on all 3 beds, and then bed skirts, and then the colorful duvet covers and duvets. That's just at the foot. Mm-hmm. That's all I just
that's
want
how
at the
I
foot.
do it.
Okay, and so I'm different.
Okay, but let me just tell you what I use because I'm the same. Then you could do your different.
Of course.
I use white Matelassé bed covers on every single bed in my house. I love that look. I love that white base. It's almost like having a white linen sheet, but I like the Matelassé.
That's beautiful too.
It is. And I like on my bed, I have a scalloped edge and that just covers. And then I've got a raw silk, soft surrounding, beautiful
bed skirt.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I put the duvet at the bottom of my bed as well. And every single room in my house has that sort of formula.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
let me, before I tell you what I do, I know everyone's on the edge of their seat right now.
I
The edge of their bed, perhaps.
I'm leaning
Because I've
leaning
seen
in.
the tour of your house and I can't remember. By the way,
Well-
put that online. Put that on our show notes again.
Okay.
Your house is beautiful. It was such a cool video tour.
It
Oh, you're
was
so sweet. Well, like we always say, totally not done, but you make
We're
it
never
look as
done.
done as
You're
possible.
never done.
Yeah,
if
because
you're a decorator.
I still want to have this up on the wall and this up on the wall. But anyway, okay. So let me ask a question. Now, if you've got a duvet that is, it's got filled with down,
Mm-hmm.
are you're folding it over at the end? Isn't it kind of puffy?
Yes, that's the deal.
I love the puffy.
Me too.
But so it's flat, then kind of real puffy at the end.
Yes. And then
Okay.
you throw a throw over that.
Well, no,
Right.
but that's a good point. If it's just folded at the foot of your bed, you probably don't want the two duvets in the cover. But
no,
if you're
because
using
that would
it,
be like really
no, because then it's like a mountain.
right. So this is what I do. Okay.
Yes.
So I've got my sheet, then we have a blanket, and then I have a white linen duvet cover from Bella Notte that I absolutely love. And
Mhm.
inside that, the duvet. And that goes over the entire king size bed. Then at the bottom is where I have a quilt. It's a thin gray quilt.
Mhm.
And that's the base. So it kind of like what we were doing at Texas Flip and Move, Anita, with the goldenrod one and the navy one, that
Mhm.
kind of thickness. So, maybe a quarter, a half an inch, nothing too heavy. And that's the bottom of my bed. So
Right.
mine doesn't puff up at the end. So because
Yeah.
we use the duvet every night to sleep under.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's another great way to do it. I mean, just whatever you like. I mean, I think it's such a personal preference.
But duvets are just, for me, they're the way to go because you can just exchange the covers and you don't have, the covers are pretty bulky, but I have one bedroom, I have 3 different duvet covers for that bedroom. And it's really nice that I don't have big, bulky comforters to put away.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
True,
and I loved
true.
what Anita said. It's so true. And, invest in one per room and you really don't have to replace that. I mean, maybe
you
not
just
for 20
replace your
years.
you
Mhm.
replace your duvet cover.
Right. Do you have
Right.
a filing system for the duvet covers? Like,
No, but they go in the room. Well, remember, I've got 4 guest bedrooms now
Right.
because my kids are gone. Although they get used all the time, so I keep them in the bottom drawers of the bedroom they belong in.
smart. Awesome. Well, I actually learned a lot doing the research for today's episode because, but you don't really know. You kind of know,
Well,
like, oh, duvet. Yeah, I got it.
it. I didn't. Some of those things, like I told you, I just really did not know. But just by instinct and by reading about it and by doing it for so long. But it's good to have all those exact counts and the exact words so that you know. And so we have learned a lot today, and hopefully we've given you some good ideas. And as you can tell, we're all very pro duvet here. So just remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey, everybody, we want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com. Or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. When you subscribe, DTT comes free right to you 3 days a week. So until next time.